Hi, this is Mia. This is Saturday morning, and I feel like a complete fool. They had the topic of this meeting, money, and they were talking about the tradition, 12 steps and 12 traditions, excess, donate excess, and have a prudent reserve and donate the excess. So that's like the meeting itself. But a prudent reserve for, like, if your meeting is like $35 a month for the building, or $100, let's say $35 a month for the building, then you have like a few $100, and you have, what do you say, 6 months, 1 year's income in the bank. Because right now they're not past the basket, so that's why it's good to have a prudent reserve. It's like an emergency fund for an actual human and or family. But I got to talk about being homeless and living in a tent and living in a small apartment, and I told the truth about what I live, and the lady's like, okay, I have one more person to call on. You have to. So I felt like I got called last, and I wanted to. All these people are like, oh, I still work. Oh, I still have money. Oh, I spend less money. Oh, I have giving all this money, all my money to the library, and I'm giving all my money to these people. I'm making all these masks for everybody. Like, and I'm like, where's my donation? Where's my mask? Where's my everything? And I just feel like I made a fool of myself. But that's the truth. That's the reality of it. And getting shut off, I felt so stupid, and I felt like when my partner was shut up at the meeting about talking about truth and honesty in the politicians. He was using that as an example. He was talking about honesty, which is a very big, open, honest, willing. That's a very big part of 12-step meetings. But people don't want to hear the truth, and so I know how he feels, and I don't want to keep myself in that box, but I want to talk about. I ended up saying, oh, well, my hope is that I'm also in another program, and I'm also away from my qualifiers, so there's some hope and a little bit of clarity of mind to try to plan and make decisions that I with my higher power can, go forward in. And like that guy in the nonprofit thing that talked full circle like I do, it's like that. I didn't get to my point. I know my partner even has that way of setting up a story, and so I just was going on and on about being in poverty, living with my kids, and living in a homeless shelter, and this and this and this, and being in debt and all this. I was like, it's really scary because I came out here to make an opportunity to help people in my healthcare business, and I just made a fool of myself in my meeting, and I should not have talked about. Actually, I'm not going to say I should not have talked about it. I should have looked at the time and gave myself, 3.5 minutes to talk about it. That's what I should have done. The reality is, it was like a cry for help. The reality is, it was a. Reality, this is not how all you guys are doing. The reality is the reality is, for me, I can't. Someone's going to give all their money to the libraries that already have funding through our taxes that we're already paying. We're all paying for the libraries. They have volunteers. I didn't get a chance to talk about volunteering when I can't find jobs. And the reality is, I can't even get people to get 50 get 50 people to give me $10 for my campaign to do the $50 for the GoFundMe. And I had this vision, and I was like, I'll show you, you know, mother hen or little red hen. I'll show you. I think this light helps at all. I'll show you. Me and my partner will make our money. I'll have my clinic. You're gonna have to pay me full price. There's no friends and family specials anymore. I tried that. Nobody takes you serious. You give them friends and family special, and you cut the price because you're so happy to help them, and you're trying to really help somebody in your circle, and then they totally screw you, don't pay you a dime. It's like, oh, I should have just charged you the $1,500, like, and send it to collections is what I should have done. And I tried to tell them they could pay like $500. They didn't pay a dime for my time. It's humiliating. Dear God, I made a fool of myself on that meeting, and I don't have a sponsor. I'm working the steps. It's true though. It's coming full circle and talking about hope, because a few days ago I didn't have any hope, and I was also having PMS really bad. I didn't have any hope, and dear God, I did mention that maybe my higher power was having me have a time of healing and healing and health and maybe some rest. I was going to start mentioning that I had 2 years ago I was working 7 days a week, multiple jobs. I still had to take money from my kid to pay the rent. It's a mess. It's horrible. And, you know, it makes people upset, and it makes people want to cry. They don't want to see that. But they're going to be like, oh, I got $1,200. Oh, I got $3,900. I'm going to just send it in to some nonprofit. Or someone said they sent a bunch of masks to some company down south. Like, oh, you sent them a bunch of masks. What if you sent me a 10-pack of masks so that I can go see patients today and not just make a living and pay my freaking rent and pay off my credit card, but to help people. It's not just to take your money and go gamble with it, or your donation. It's to help others, to take myself out of self, to be selfless, not selfish. But I have to be a little bit selfish. Someone was saying you had to be a little bit narcissistic. You have to be a little bit selfish in order to get to a place where you have something to show for it. Your life. And these are all white people, and they are not going to understand that even if you have education, it's like, because you're black, it's like you get stuck in this poverty thing. Part of it is because the freaking aren't given an opportunity, aren't given a chance. It's not because you're lazy, it's not because you're uneducated, it's not because you came from a bad family. It's because you're not given a chance, and you're not getting help, and you're not getting even $3 on GoFundMe. And somebody's telling me that they're spending $600 on crap at the grocery store, hoarding. I made a mistake on a scholarship application that I was donating money to Africa, and that I was deciding not to go out to eat all month, instead using that money. I should have said, yeah, I'm going to use that money to go out to eat, so me and my kids can have a night where we don't have dishes and cooking, so we could study and get good grades and be the best doctor we can be, and be a clinic chef, since, you know, take care of people. I should have said something else, you know. This bed mattress gets pushed over so far. I had to be careful because there's furniture I'm about to knock over. It's the reality of it. Let's see. Okay, stop. This is why I have this channel, because people don't want to hear about it. I was trying to do charting and billing last night, and my partner wanted to watch a TV program that he did a free trial for the channel, and I was like, in my mind, this is what I really want to say. I'm trying to do this charting. I'm trying to do this so I can do the billing. I would like to do this so that I can make some money, because even if you're working, you can pay your rent and the gas and the car. That's not paying my rent. on the West Coast that's not paying my bills and my phone bill and all the stuff that I need. My food, my female products, your money. And it's like, I need to do this, and you want to do this free trial, you're putting in your credit card, they're going to want to bill you. And I felt like I needed to have a lot done before midnight, which I didn't do any of what I wanted to do. And I know that he was probably thinking, like, he came home and I was probably playing my video game. He was probably thinking, oh, she sat around and watched TV and did video games all day. But it's like, I was cleaning, I cooked him food and my stomach was ground. It's like with my kids, I always put somebody else first. And then I don't have what I need, to live in peace. And I'm gonna eat this. I don't even know how to say it. I was doing distance healthcare before this coronavirus, and part of it was just like distant. But you know what? And Pastor's a bit late. Told me people like me can't go to medical school, and that I would have had to make that decision in junior high. Screw you, punk. I did make that decision. My sweat stinks because I feel threatened. I did make that decision in junior high. And what was that decision that I made? Take college prep classes. It came in, I think it was after that they came in and talked to you about careers, and you got to go to healthcare and listen to these guys talk, and there's like 2 different rooms, and there was another doctor in the church. And I immediately called this doctor, and I was like, I've done all the prereqs. I have a good enough grade point hours to get into med school. Ew. Oh my god. I hope that wasn't like a bug. Egg or something. I'm finding weird crap in my food. I don't like it. And this lady's like, well, med school's really hard. Well. Like, she didn't say, yeah, go for it. Alright, God's told me to do this. And my one friend Jody's the only one in that whole church that said go for it. And you know what sucks? I was doing it for them. I was doing it for community. I was doing it for my neighbor, myself, my kids, my neighbors, my churches, relatives, the city, the world. I have my radio tower as my symbol for Tower of Health LLC because I wanted to share this with the world. In fact, that's what I need to do. I need a trademark because nowadays it's like it's been my trademark for a long time. This is my problem in meetings. Part of me feels like it's because I'm black. Even if there's other blacks and they have straight hair and weaves and cute, green contact lenses and all this stuff. Part of my issue is going into the world like this. And with that Sibylla thing, I just said, I'm going. The first year I almost failed out. I was going up to prayer to get prayer on Sunday mornings at the front of the church. It was embarrassing to tell whoever was standing in front of me that I needed prayer because I'm failing out of school. Now, why was I failing out of school? Because I was reading every book that there was in the library about anatomy and physiology, biochemistry. I wasn't reading the teacher's notes. I was studying wrong. I should have been reading. The teacher says, I want you to know this from my notes. Not from some book from the, American Medical Association. Is that book good to read? Yes. Is it good to know? Yeah. Is it in my brain? Yeah. But it wasn't going to help me on your test It has a bunch of notes and pictures. And the teacher literally copies and pastes that slide's words onto the test and omits a word. Such and such and such is the such what nerve number is responsible for blah blah blah. And you have multiple choice A, B, C, D, E. It's literally taking it verbatim. Now, does that mean that I didn't read the books for comprehension? No, these books are thick and stacked. What did it mean when I had this book? It meant what did it mean when I had this book? It meant that I did not have time. The notes for the test were this thick. The books were this bit thick. What I had to do was go through the notes as a condensed section of whatever it was. First year medical school, we had a teacher named Dr. Brons, Johann. I don't know if his name is actually Johann. I think I call him Johann Brons. John. He was called Johann. Sorry, no. I don't think that was his. I called him Johann for some reason. John Brons. I think it was actually John, not Jonah. Johann. We had him for anatomy, physiology, and organ systems. And we were in class. I think one of his classes I had was, or they changed it the next year to a 7-credit class or something. It was ridiculous. And we had anatomy lab. We did not have organ systems lab, but basically organ system. I like organ system anatomy now. I sat in the front of the room, front and center, took notes, came to class every day on time, early, every single day so I could get my spot. He didn't want us to eat in class, so I probably had a water bottle, and I took notes. I printed all my notes up. I took notes. If I had my computer, I probably typed notes too. And there was a vent right here, and a vent right here. And I'd sit in class and listen to him talk. I'd go to his office hours. I'd watch the screen. I didn't look at anybody else. I didn't talk to anyone else. I sat in the front, as close to his podium as I could get my chair. I felt really sick in that class. I was holding on to the side of the desk or the table, holding on to the chair because I was dizzy. I felt sick. I was in anatomy lab. I ended up getting a respirator mask that I was using. I did not use that mask for one of my tests. I got less than a 40% for that test because they stopped grading. I got like everything wrong. I ran into the test late and I didn't have time to go to my locker. And I thought, it's just a test. I don't need a respirator because the chemicals. I'm chemical sensitive. That anatomy lab, I did so bad. I said, I will never go into that lab again without a respirator. Which, I wish I had that respirator now, right? The N95 respirator particulate filter. And I ended up finding, I felt so dizzy. I felt like I was going to fall over. The reason I held on to the furniture is because I thought I was going to fall on the ground. And some of it's pride, thinking that I was making a fool of myself. But I ended up, the next year or the following year, they shut down that classroom. And so remember me, like, in the front row on the right side where the vents were. They ended up shutting down that classroom for like a week or something because in the anatomy lab, my teacher said that the old anatomy lab, someone said the old anatomy lab was in this trailer or something, and it was like not air filter, not air circulation, and the chemicals are really bad. But we had these, I mean, they were like coffins, I guess, raised up tables, medical, dead lab tables with the dead people, and they had the tube that goes up into the vent that's supposed to expel the air. I don't think it cleared it anyway, just expelled the air. And they found out that that air was literally leaking into that big classroom, the yellow classroom. I forget what they used to call it. I call it the yellow classroom. And that happened within a year or two. So maybe it was like that, and I was getting like so sick. My grades were not that good. I was taking the test in there. I couldn't think. He'd come and tap his hand saying, everyone else is finished with the test. You got to be done. Get out. I was like, all right, you said we had an hour and it's only been 40 minutes. Like, well, everyone else finished in 30. Like, you need to get accommodations because I'm not going to sit here and wait for you. And he would be talking to me and I wouldn't even read the questions. I would just answer the A. I would just turn it in. I'd literally, like, throw the test away. They don't really give you the test anyway. You can't take the test home, but I literally, like, just fill in answers and walk out without having even read. You don't really have much of a chance, as if you pay attention in class and read your notes, to just guess and not. I mean, it could say what's the name of this part of your arm, and the answer you could have picked could be Donald Duck, just because the fact you didn't have time to read the questions or the answers. That coming through, I was like a canary in the coal mine. The back of the classroom had windows that opened up wide, and to think, I said, oh, that happened. I wonder if that was why I was so dizzy, because I did not know why I was so sick, and it was only that classroom. I did not know why I couldn't sit up. I did not know why I couldn't think. I did not know why I couldn't finish my test in a timely manner. Still taking the test in the front of the classroom. And then I found that out and I was like, dang. Because we had biochem in there. I got dizzy in there, but we did not have that class for as long. So the reason that I'm talking about this is that I am a canary in a coal mine. We have relatives that are... We have, like, me and my daughter that are... premonitions, like deja vu's, premonitions. I don't know. I don't talk to my daughter about deja vu's that much, but that kind of out there stuff. But we, like, so there's this almost like a spiritual or a, like, I want to say all knowing, like God, like a, it's like a spiritual, or, I mean, there's fortune tellers, or those guys that go, they had that, was it Criminal Minds? I don't think it was Criminal Minds. There's one of the shows, one of the Ion crime shows where they had the fortune teller. What do you call those guys? The clairvoyants. Where they're like, somebody in this road just had a sister die. And they're like, you. And the sister, you didn't get a chance to say, I apologize for sleeping with your husband and getting pregnant by him, but my husband is sterile, like, and then she's like, how did you know? They say something, because they'll say a sister or another close relative or friend. Like, if they say sister and somebody's eyebrows lift or their eyes get wide or somebody blushes or their body language like that, then he'll say, okay, it's you, like, somebody over here, I sense. And, you know, in these TV shows like fiction, they would joke a little bit. Maybe it was Monk, I don't know. They would joke a little bit on the TV show. Not joke, but they would show, like, producers and employees of the TV show in the corner with hidden mics hiding. And, you know, in the pre-show, before it starts, the people are talking, and they might hear someone say that their kid was kidnapped, or, you know, they might hear something, and just, anyways. There's some clairvoyance that is I don't know, sociology, psychology. It's a matter of being aware. Like the clouds. Am I aware of the clouds? It's partly cloudy. There's a couple dark clouds. I see the blue clouds and the puffy clouds. So I already looked at the forecast, but what I learned college as a child, my daughter knows it even better than I do. You can go outside and say, is it going to rain today? You could also go outside every hour and see if there's a storm brewing or a storm blowing over. But depending on the pressure, is there a storm brewing or is there a storm blowing over, etc., etc. You can watch animals. You can go out every day and there'll be birds outside, and then all of a sudden there's nothing outside. No birds. You can hear them. And you're like, what the heck is going on? Is it going to, sometimes the ants go in. They're out in your house and they're crazy, and then they disappear. And then either it gets really cold or it gets really wet. Something weird happens. This horse was running around. This mini horse was running around in circles, galloping, galloping. And I was like, that's how I feel. I've been stuck in this little place. And I'm able to think about wanting to run around in circles, which I watched on TV that morning. And I was like jogging in place and stuff. And it's weird that I saw. I was like, I know how you feel, horse. Some of you have a lot more roaming room than I do. The point of talking about the old pastor and her telling me that I could never go to medical school and I could never make it, I was very offended. I used them as fighting words, not to fight her, not to say anything bad, but to focus on getting through the school. And there's one thing, when this type of stuff happens, there's one thing that I strongly dislike, and that is that I get somebody cutting me off when I'm talking, making me feel like I'm a fool, telling me I can't do this, telling me people like you should be working this minimum wage job, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And then I start thinking they're right. And I'm like, no, I gotta fight this. I'll go like 3-4 days where I'll say, yeah, I'll quit my job in the healthcare as a naturopath, and I'll work at Dunkin' Donuts, I'll work at McDonald's. And then these doctors like, don't do that, don't do that. And I'm like, well, your clinic is working for you and you're busy and you have clients, I don't. And so that's where that is thinking about I'll show you. I'll do better than I ever thought I could. I'll prove it. I'm not even going to tell you about it. I'll prove it to myself that I can do what you told me I can't. And so when I started getting better grades in med school right before that, when I actually took the books back to the library, and I told myself, read those books I bought a bunch like that too. Read those books when you graduate, because some of the stuff in the book was opposite of what was taught in my class. And I'm like, I got 9 books here that say that A, B, and C is correct, and in my notes it's got it backwards. And I was like, I'm not going to judge someone if they're dyslexic, but they need to have somebody proofread, and nobody else in the class is raising their hand. Once in a while there's a typo in the notes and an error. Someone who did a master's or a PhD program in genetics or this, that, they're like, no, this is not being taught right. But a lot of us, we don't have that. We only have the basic science. A lot of people that have science degrees, chemistry degrees, they sound fancy. I kind of wish I had a chemistry degree or something so I could go work in a lab. I can show the transcript in the classes that I did take, but I don't have the actual degree. But what I want to say is I didn't like myself saying I'll show you, like showing myself that I'm going to do what you told me I can't. And maybe that's the whole point. Maybe that's how it's not trying to put it in someone's face like, now I have a nicer house, nicer car than you told me I couldn't do it. It's like you get the nice house and nice car because you want something that's good. You see crappy cars and crappy houses that fall apart and you put more money in them than if you just bought something quality, like a nice pair of pants or something. You can't just keep buying crappy crap. I mean, you could buy used nice stuff, right? You can buy cheap crappy stuff, but it's wasteful for the environment and everything. So I would not have anyone help me, I would go and apply for jobs. Or if I didn't get jobs, I'd go apply for volunteering. They're looking for volunteers at the hospital. I'm not doing it. And I felt guilty saying, she told me I couldn't, I proved that I can. And now this has happened over 15 years of me finding people opposing what I want to do. And I use that, like, I want to fight someone. No, I don't really fight. I want to cry about it. I want to sit in a pity pot. I want to get fat. Nobody cares. Nobody likes me. No one will even give me 50 cents, and I can make more panhandling. I would literally probably make more rummaging through ditches with a metal detector, right? And so I'm like, well, you know what? You have to sell the stuff from eBay. You have to do your charting. You have to do your billing. And it's, if your partner is going to work for a couple of weeks and he's going to have time off and he wants to go to Oregon and this and this and this and he doesn't want me to do this diaper changing job and all this stuff, then I have to do my work. And with him, that fighting thing comes, like, he wants to relax. He did something all day, or he played his game. Now he wants to watch a TV program with me. Either I'm tired, or I want to finish something up, or I'm trying to do a webinar, and he's like, no, you need to play now. But it's like, I'm like, if I want to be successful at my job, I have to follow through with all the work. It's like building a house and not putting a roof on it and expecting someone to live in there. Like, do everything. And the better job you do, the more that you can move on and live and be healthy. The house won't leak. The house won't have critters in it, like, or have a harder time for them getting in. If you just leave doors off and leave holes and don't put the foundation, like, that's what he's doing now. Is having to redo so much work instead of just plowing the entire house down, right? And so that's, you think about that when you buy property, if you're even allowed to do that. I gotta go play my game and check the news. But I get to where he'll be like, oh, I want you to do this. I want you to help me with this, blah, blah, blah. And I've been sitting there all day, whether he's at home or whether he's at work. And I've been doing a crap load. I wrote down what I did yesterday, some of the things. He wanted me to move one of his meds to a different bottle, and I did it. Like, because they had a substitute bottle, and I did it. And I'm feeling like that was my goal for the whole day. Someone asked me to do something, and I don't like to break promises, even though I didn't promise that I'd do it. I said I would. I don't like to go back on my word. And I did it. I ended up feeling guilty because I want to stand up for myself and say that I can't, I wanted to feel like, so I stand up for myself and say, I have to get this done by tonight. I have to get a certain goal done. I just gave up. I threw my paper, shut the computer, and went on a walk. I said, forget it. And then I'd like, just plow through. You're tired. I fell asleep in the middle of a video game. I've never done that. I've almost fallen asleep during the video game, but I've never completely just like woke up an hour later and been like, oh crap, my screen is saying that I got defeated. This guy's probably like, what the heck is her problem? But that's where I am today, is just feeling like I stood up for myself and said I need to get something done, and then I just start crying and carrying on. Because standing up for myself as a child got you in more trouble than you were if you just let them do what they wanted and don't give you any opportunity to do what you need to do with your life, with your school, with your, like, it's like you're doing life, you're doing work, you're trying to clean. I was doing a major cleaning thing before we got our inspection notice this summer, and my kids complained that I was cleaning and that it was stressing them out. And I'm like, I'm having opportunity and energy, especially in the summer, to start straightening up stuff and cleaning out stuff and getting rid of old stuff and putting more stuff up for sale. I was going to the post office every day. Just preserving it, making sure critters and bugs and stuff don't get in there in the house or in the products or in the stuff you're trying to salvage. And people complain. It's like I want to sit back in my room and not stand up for myself. So sometimes I'm like, Mia should be in Mia's world. Mia should be in a pumpkin, you know? I should just be somewhere where I'm just going to grow a garden and talk to the wild animals outside and talk to the neighbors' pets so that I don't have to have pets so I can go travel and not have to hire a babysitter or a pet sitter. And that's what I feel like. And I've been so social. I've never been living alone my whole life. I don't even know if I can handle it. I've never worked my career with another human being. I tried to once, and the office manager kicked me out. During week 13, 5.4% of all emergency department visits in Oregon were due to influenza-like illness. That's not that many, actually. It's not that many. 2.1% of specimens tested positive for influenza. There's an influenza for my clinic. If someone has influenza symptoms, I'm supposed to report it to somebody. I don't know if this is there's a lot of things that I have to. Let me turn the sound down. I just figure, if I keep doing what I'm doing and if I get riled up and I make this whole plea that I am desperate, telling my sister-in-law, telling my best friend who's got tons of money, and they don't talk to you, they don't send you anything. They're like, oh, I'm going to send you a Christmas magnet, and they don't send it, and you're like, screw you, you went back on your word, and actually sent them a card. I never got to the house. I don't know what happened with that. It's really weird, sitting somewhere. I bet you it's either somebody stole it because they thought it had money in it, or since they were on vacation when I sent it, it just got left somewhere. I don't know. But I feel like what I want to say is part of me feels like I'm gonna send myself my own thing. Screw you, you're not my real friend. It's passive aggressive plea for help without straight out saying, I was gonna say I need help and I need a sponsor, but she cut me off, so I didn't do that. And I do think, like someone said, that to do the steps around, especially step 4 around money. So I think that people live in their own bubble and they lose jobs and they have jobs and they have houses and they have cars and they have food and toilet paper and all this stuff. And I think that the guy says that he saw somebody less fortunate outside of his own house and didn't even realize that was what was going on. And so for me, it feels like I can't even have a friend. And when you're impoverished, you want to act like you have money. Especially as a black person, you want to act like you have money because you don't want somebody to think you're going to rob them. Robbing them is not always about money. Look at the superstars that steal and go to jail for stealing diamonds and stuff. It's not... Being a thief is that person's nature to steal, whether they have money or not. People stealing food, bread and meat, lunch meat from a store, that's a problem. That's stuff. That person is also about to starve to death. My ex-husband had some issues with him and his homeless community about starving, near starvation. No food stamps, no shelters, no soup kitchens. And it's they would take something and know that it was wrong. Do I agree with it? No. would they have been able to dig through the dumpster, get something rotten maybe, and like unfortunately some of the stores in Portland would put bread out, I don't know, like on a table, and I never saw a free sign, so I didn't touch the bread, but I was like broke. I was like, I could use that loaf of bread for my kids, you know. I didn't take it because it didn't say free, but there was a lot of homeless people, and you'd see the bread gone or thrown on the ground or something in certain stores, and I didn't take it. I also learned later at the food pantry that the bread on the side, you know what, I thought I ordered one of those Jim, freaking almond butter. I thought I ordered, there's no way that was sold out. I thought I ordered that. I don't know. I'll have to check my stuff. I swear I ordered this almond maca stuff, and I'm not. Maybe I didn't order it because I didn't want to pay money. So I'm just going to have to live on credit, you know. I'm just going to have to, like, all the money in the world, if I came down with coronavirus and died, that's not going to help anybody. That's not going to help me, especially, like, the money is not going to help. Whether, you know, that boy who got turned away, I wonder if he was black or Hispanic, he didn't have insurance, and he died of coronavirus at age 19 in California. That just makes me sick. He should not have been denied. No matter what, he should not have been denied. And if he did vitals on him and he had a low pulse oxygen concentration, and you know, where's my pulse ox? Speaking of, it just makes me sad. I'm all riled up, and this is the stuff like when the women gave me dirty looks and all this. There's a Zoom virus. Zoom virus. I feel like I'm riled up and I don't tell my boyfriend that someone said something rude, and then I feel like it's just, we saw a lady stealing from it was a white lady. You see, the people at the store were staring at me. Black lady with this white guy in the store. Was it Portland? I think we're in Portland. And this white lady was in the store. She had stole a bunch of stuff. And they were staring at me, this black lady. I don't know, we were trying to buy fingernail clippers or tweezers or something silly like that. You know, just a little thing in the aisle with a little stuff that they want to watch. So they were watching me, trying to find our clippers or whatever. And then this lady's getting all fussy about something and paying for something, or trying to return something, or like bringing in another bag of stuff that she said she was like, oh, this is already paid for. I bought this at a different store. A friend Maya earlier today, so she's carrying around another bag, and she walks out and the sensors go off and the security's up there, and she's like, I already had bought this. I don't know why the sensor blah blah blah. And they're trying to look at the color of the label, because the Rite Aid or wherever we had a certain bar sticker that showed that it was actually from their store, had a different color than other stores, and this lady had the sticker that was like her store, so probably she brought in a shopping bag that was empty and put a bunch of makeup in it, and then I get like, I don't know, I get riled up and people treat me poorly, and I'm not going to steal from the store, and people follow me around and I don't say anything about it, but it makes me feel bad for the rest of the week and for the rest of my life. It's like a crappy pyramid, like literally like crap, like it's like a, what is it, a landfill, you know, so if you dig a hole first, it's like a fill, like I filled something up, and I filled out racism, poor treatment, and neglect, and people treating me poorly, and it's going to just keep adding on. So what I need is to stop adding this stuff on, like a landfill, and just try to cover it up, have all this methane coming out and toxic sludge coming out the bottom. What I need is a compost bin. I need to regurgitate. I need to put worms in there. I need to have a black container where I turn in the circle and it gets turned into trash that stinks. There's bugs in it. There's worms in it. There's flies and there's ants and maybe mice and rats are attracted to it. I need to, like a cow, like regurgitate it and chew it up and make something of it. And what is it? You have that. You have Miracle-Gro. You have the peat moss. You have black gold. You have the soil that's so nutritious, so dark. It smells fresh. It smells clean. You know. Could put some sterile chicken poop in there. I don't know. Miracle-Gro does, but it's like you have this mess that turned into something that you can grow a garden with today and nourish yourself or your family. Even if, like me, you only do a little bit of lettuce and some tomatoes and some herbs in your own garden, and nourish that and the pests and stuff that chew the dirt, the earthworms and the pests that get on the leaves and start chewing on the leaves. They're nourished too. It's like the earth. Even if we don't want the pests, if we're scared of worms, we are nourished too, because we started with some potato pills and some rotten apples, and maybe we bought some raspberries at the store and they had bugs and mold on the bottom and stuff, and you're just like, I wasted $6 on this. I did that once in church. I bought some raspberries and it was rotten. It wasn't rotten, it had bugs on it. I went to the lady's house for a woman's night. I was like, these have bugs on them. Do you think I should just throw them out? She's like, yes, throw them out. And I was kind of mad. Like, they had, like, aphids or something. And I was like, I have never really bought raspberries since, because raspberries don't seem like they are good in a container from a store. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So we're going to check the morning Talbot County but I feel horrible. I feel like I ruined everyone's day. I feel like I part of me feels like Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream. Like, part of me feels like you have to speak up about this thing being untrue. And one of the friends that was on this group also had a woman who was a employment office person, and we needed to make sure that the job was not going to take away the insurance that I needed to get, because my teeth bleed and I have this other stuff that I needed to address. So it's like you need to not just work for a week or two and get on insurance that you can't afford to pay for your health care and then have that job be terminated, because it's temporary, and you need to be able to wean yourself off, to work for yourself, report your income, and then when the insurance says that you make too much, you get off of that, not just have it taken away right away. So this is, but I feel happy. I'm going to ask God to guide me to feel like I did the right thing on Saturday morning. Is it the 4th? I didn't write the date. Yeah, 4/4. Here it is. This is a really long video. I'm just exhausted. I'm tired. I got to do a lot of work for my business. And right now, I feel like I feel hungry. I feel like right now it's like I want to go and cry and put my head in my lap and then go outside and hold a sign and say, it's just like passing by homeless people and not giving them, it's like you might want to give to some actors raising money to give masks to kids in Uganda or something. You're going to give to Joyce Meyer, who has all these missions all over the world, but you're not even going to listen to be a friend to somebody who's sleeping on the side of the road or who's sleeping out of a hotel or out of a truck. But to switch that around, I watched some of Rusty 78609 today. He's in going to Rio Dojo, New Mexico, and he's in, where's the other place? Capitan, New Mexico. And I really respect his videos because they're really good, short, simple. He doesn't edit them. I really like them. They're entertaining. They're short and sweet. He takes us on his car ride, and since he has a dash mount, I like how he plans things. I like how he changes the price of things. I like how he looks for shut water on, how much it's going to cost to shut off, what's the monthly fee, blah, 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 blah. What about this phone service? Does Verizon works better here? What about this one? What about this monthly plan versus prepaid plan versus this versus where can I get free Wi-Fi? Do I need the data or not? Like, I like how he has that. I mean, he gets Social Security, he gets eBay or YouTube income and Amazon affiliate income. So he's got it made there, especially the those extra incomes. He was living fine off of his Social Security because he said he was making six-figure income a long time ago. So if he's in his 70s, he's making six-figure income in the 80s and stuff. So he's got a lot of income coming in that's guaranteed. So he's able to eat, he's able to live, and I guess I raised about what I really lived because I wanted to be honest about money. I wanted to be honest about being poor. And it overwhelmed the people from my group that are in a different demographic. They got it made. And I just have to say, even though my health, I had brushed my teeth last night and got the worst stomach ache right before. I tried to play the game to ignore myself, my body, and it was a nightmare. So let's read. There's one more case of COVID-19 in this county. As of today, so it's gone up to 6. Queen Anne's County, I don't know where that is, but it's gone up to 13. So every county in the state, I think, has it now. I don't know these counties. I need to look at them up. The death toll has gone times 5 since yesterday. It looks like times 5. In the state, 821 were hospitalized out of 3,125. So I need to figure out the government lending program. So let's put that on the to-do list. Government lending program. I have until the 10th to pay my PayPal. I owe, if you paid $100 or more, if you spent $100 or more on the PayPal credit, you would have 6 months to pay it, I think. I bought something and I used a coupon and it went down to like $96 or something like crap. So I paid like 50 or something already. Then I paid like 40 or 35. So I paid 35 something, 36 yesterday. So I'll pay the other 36 and I'm hoping to sell something. So this is the balance between being this is a really long video. This is the balance being able to be in a relationship and enjoy life. We went camping. We went to shows. We went to techno music. We went to restaurants. I went to Vegas. He helped me to go to shows in Vegas. We went on airplanes 4 times. And I went 6 times last summer on an airplane. One way there, back. That's two times. I count each single time. We went, I went to Tacoma, stayed in hotels. All that is canceled. Life is canceled. The shows are canceled. Vegas is canceled. The restaurant eating is canceled. We can get takeout if they stay open. So I did a lot, and we used money, and we spent it. And I'm grateful that we got to have an experience and love. So I don't want to spend and say Mia's going to really be careful what you wish for. I'm going to go into a cave, and there's going to be all of this list of to-dos. I'm going to do my business. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then keep isolated. I don't want to really do that. I don't want, that Rusty guy seemed to do that a little bit, but he starts to know people. He was going out, and people were coming to visit him. Now he's doing a 6 foot rule, so he had people, followers, and he'd go to restaurants and meet the cashiers and talk about life and go to the same places year after year, the favorite pizza place, meet people, interview them. And that's not the same as having a friend come over and play cards, but we played cards distant, and that was fun. So you can still have communication and see people in real life and go to stores. So that takes, go to talk to utility guys, go to check the mail and waving to your neighbors. I think that fulfills some void, but having like contact and hugs and stuff, and having intimate partner, which I've only really had two, like really long term with my ex-husband was horrible, and then some flaky ones where the guys were not having me as a actual girlfriend and being treated like nothing, like just trash that came over to fill up a little bit of their boring lifetime, you know. So I feel like I don't necessarily want to wish to be isolated and alone and be able to do my work, but I need a balance. Like, I need to be able to have fun and shut off the day, but I need to be able to get that roof on each of my projects. Need to have the foundation, the things, whatever, the 2x4s that go up, whatever, the frame of the house, fill in, do the roof, fill everything in, and then actually do the plumbing, the electric, the HVAC, the windows, and then the board, that's to say dry rot, the wall, drywall, the paint, the decoration, the fixtures, the lights, then bring in your cable and your internet and your favorite grandma's quilt on the wall and all this kitchen decor. Just finish it, make it nice. And you see people's houses where they have the decoration. We have like these couple decorations here, but it's like I wish that I could decorate. I also have to think of the basics. Get my food up off the floor, get my food out of these paper bags, get my toilet paper from getting eaten by mice. And he thought he saw something in here. I heard something in the wall. We're scared. So I gotta go and clean up all this stuff too. What the heck is that? Like scary stuff in here. Peace, guys. It's late. I'm gonna go for my walk. Bye.